My name is Mariah Snyder. I'm going to be telling you about one of the best-selling books selling over 150 million copies worldwide. Tolkien wrote and published The Hobbit in 1937, The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, all between July 1954 and October of 1955. Tolkien wrote all the languages included in all the books. He has been writing languages since he was a child. There are multiple dialects of Elvish, but the most high is called Quenya. The Lord of the Rings starts in the Shire, with Frodo the Ring-Bearer, Bilbo Frodo's uncle, Sam his best friend and gardener, and Merry and Pippin his cousins. Frodo is given a ring from his uncle Bilbo, who found it when he was on an adventure as a young hobbit with the dwarves. Gandalf recognizes it as the evil ring. It has the power to control all, especially in the hands of its owner Sauron. Gandalf recognizes this and tells Frodo to meet him at the Prancing Pony, and they will go to the elves and decide what to do with the One Ring. Sam overheard and decides to go with him. On the way, they run into Merry and Pippin. Merry and Pippin decide to join their adventure. Gandalf is no longer at the Prancing Pony. They find Aragorn, who is of royal descent but is disguised as Strider. Aragorn decides to take the hobbits to Rivendell and hopes Gandalf will meet them there. Once in Rivendell, they learn it must be destroyed in the same volcano it was made in, Mount Doom in Mordor. They form the Fellowship of the Ring with Legolas, who is of Elvish royalty and also a close friend of Aragorn, Boromir, whose father is the steward of Gondor, Gimli, who is a dwarf, and Merry, Pippin, and Sam. They all swear to protect Frodo and the ring until it is destroyed. As their journey goes on, they end up losing Gandalf to a Balrog, as a demon from hell. Frodo does no longer feel safe around the others and decides to leave on his own to get the ring destroyed. But Sam sees this and follows. Along the way, Sam and Frodo meet a creature named Gollum, who used to have possession of the ring. He has had the ring for over 500 years before he lost it. His mind has now been poisoned. He promises to lead them to Mordor with no harm. Meanwhile, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli are on their way to find Merry and Pippin, who were unfortunately kidnapped by the orcs. Boromir died protecting them. Orcs are nasty, vile-bred creatures who are only bred to form a killing army. During this rescue mission, they come across Gandalf, who has basically had an upgrade. They discuss what is going on and head to Rohan. When in Rohan, they meet King Theoden, who has been possessed by Saruman, an evil wizard. Gandalf unpossesses him and brings him back to his rightful mind. They learn that orcs are coming to Rohan and they must retreat to Helm's Deep, the stronghold that they have had for years. On the way, they are attacked by an army of orcs and Aragorn goes over a cliff. We go back to Frodo and Sam, and Gollum ends up betraying Frodo. But in the end, Sam saves him. They finally enter Mordor and disguise themselves in orc armor to prepare for their journey through Mordor to Mount Doom. Aragorn shows up to Helm's Deep after believing to be dead. This gives the troops a rally. Gandalf shows up mid-battle on day 3 with Theoden's best soldiers who had been banned during Theoden's possession. They win the war and make their way to Gondor, which is on the other side of Mordor. Gandalf, Legolas, Aragorn, Merry and Pippin, and Gimli all prepare for battle in Gondor. After a narrowing win, they move for the gates of Mordor. Once they reach the gates, all the orcs march towards them, leaving Mordor empty, leaving Sam and Frodo a clear way to Mount Doom. Gollum catches up to them and starts to fight for the ring. Once Sam believes that he has beaten Gollum, he carries Frodo the rest of the way up Mount Doom. Once inside, Sam begs Frodo to throw in the ring and destroy it all, but Frodo begins to have second thoughts. Gollum sneaks back up behind them. He attacks Frodo. He ends up biting Frodo's ring finger off and falls into the fire. The ring is now in the fire, and the war is over. The volcano begins to erupt. The earth swallows up all the enemies at the front of the gates. Gandalf calls for eagles for Sam and Frodo's rescue. Sam and Frodo wake up in Rivendell with all of their friends. Aragorn is made king and honors all the hobbits. Gandalf, Frodo, and Bilbo go on with the elves to live to the undying lands, while the rest of the hobbits live happily ever after in the Shire. I believe Tolkien wrote these books with the thought that good always conquers evil, no matter how many trials and tribulations you must go through. While I was not able to include all of the details I wanted, I hope this has encouraged you to either read the books or watch the movies. They are your next world of adventure. Turn it off now.